we keep on hearing this, that they have this exorbitant privilege, where they kind of really benefit from having the world's reserve currency. And it is probably a big benefit, but it's also to the detriment of large parts of society, because we have this so-called triffins.
Hey everyone, I'm Marty Bent, and today we're diving into a fascinating conversation I had with Pascal Hügli on the TFTC podcast. Pascal is a Swiss banker who's been deeply involved in bringing Bitcoin to traditional banking. As the head of financial education at Schlossberg and Company, a Swiss private bank, he brings a unique perspective on how governments and traditional finance are starting to view Bitcoin. In this episode, we explore three major ideas: why the U.S. government might want to build a Bitcoin reserve, how this could benefit American citizens, and what this means for the future of our financial system. These aren't just theoretical discussions, they're becoming real possibilities that could affect everyone's financial future. Before we dive in, if you want to hear the full conversation, you can find the link to the complete episode of the TFTC podcast in the description below. And if you find value in these insights, hit the like button and subscribe to catch more conversations like this one. In the fast-moving world of Bitcoin and politics, things can change quickly. The discussion around Bitcoin's role in government has shifted dramatically. Let me take you back to a conversation I had about what this could mean for America's financial future. Donald Trump is president. He has been very favorable towards Bitcoin during his campaign. Many people are convinced, and I think rightly so, that there will be, Bitcoin will be, maybe not front and center, will be a part of his overall strategy as he enters the White House again. And so with all that in mind, as it stands today, I believe we're currently at an all-time high, above 76,000. Bitcoin is a $1.5 trillion market cap asset at the moment. As somebody who's been deep into Bitcoin for many years now, like, how would you define where Bitcoin stands today and where it's going to go in the short to medium term? Where we stand today, this conversation hits differently. I've been in Bitcoin since 2012, and I never thought we'd be talking about the United States government potentially holding Bitcoin. At 1031, we spend a lot of time thinking about what mainstream adoption could look like, but government adoption, that seemed like a far-off dream. But here we are, discussing it as a real possibility. Think about what this means. The world's most powerful nation considering Bitcoin as part of its strategy. This isn't just about the price hitting new highs. It's about legitimacy on a global scale. When I talk to people who are new to Bitcoin, they often ask about government acceptance. Well, we're not just talking about acceptance anymore. We're talking about active participation. This shift in perspective from Bitcoin being viewed as a fringe technology to potentially becoming a strategic asset for the United States represents a fundamental change in how governments view digital assets. It's like watching the internet move from being a curious technology to an essential part of national infrastructure. The stakes are higher now, and the implications are far-reaching for everyone, not just Bitcoin holders. Now, let's dive into the reasoning behind why a government might want to hold Bitcoin. This next part of our conversation explores the fascinating relationship between government responsibility and emerging technology.
Well, that's a great question. I'm actually contemplating this myself, because I'm always trying to play devil's advocate as well, and kind of like think, okay, why should they be doing this? I mean, the pro arguments I see is probably, yeah, because maybe not, or at least how I approach this as of now to kind of make sense is maybe not so much from a government perspective, but more from a government perspective, as government being somebody who has to work in service of their constituents, or like their citizens, And in that way, it kind of makes sense to me, if you are a US government and you know that you have a lot of people within your national borders that are holders of Bitcoin, and they will disproportionately benefit if you adopt Bitcoin as a strategic Bitcoin reserve, then obviously you also have to kind of have a positive regulatory environment. You kind of have to make sure everything is well kept, so to say, and then it kind of makes sense for me, because then you're doing this on behalf of your citizens and strengthening them.
And this perspective really struck me when I first heard it. Instead of thinking about government Bitcoin adoption as some kind of power grab, it's about serving citizens who have already chosen to hold Bitcoin. At 1031, we see this dynamic playing out in real time as more Americans invest in Bitcoin-focused businesses and hold Bitcoin themselves. Think about it like this. If a significant portion of your citizens hold an asset, doesn't the government have some responsibility to protect and support that ecosystem? It's similar to how the government maintains highways because citizens use cars, or regulates the internet because it's become essential to daily life. The idea of a strategic Bitcoin reserve isn't just about the government wanting to get involved in cryptocurrency. It's about adapting to what citizens are already doing. This shift in thinking represents a mature approach to Bitcoin adoption, moving away from resistance and toward integration. When we talk about a positive regulatory environment, we're really talking about creating a framework that protects citizens while fostering innovation. Let's explore one of the most important yet least understood aspects of our current financial system, the challenge of being the world's reserve currency, and how Bitcoin might offer a solution.
Sort of like, yeah, you have the US treasuries, which are the ultimate safe haven for institutions. And maybe, as we always hear, Bitcoin is really the ultimate safe asset for people, and increasingly also for institutions. That's what we're seeing as well. But that's something how I try to approach this. And then also maybe just economically speaking, you could think that, the US government, we keep on hearing this, that they have this exorbitant privilege, where they kind of really benefit from having the world's reserve currency. And it is probably a big benefit, but it's also to the detriment of large parts of society, because we have this so-called Triffin's dilemma that you probably have heard of, where the US really struggles with having to export US dollars and then having to keep this trade deficit, with other countries. And this kind of just has led to the fact that the US has deindustrialized and then just kind of hollowed out its middle class and stuff, And so that's really because of this problem, because the US has this world reserve currency.
This discussion touches on something crucial that many people don't realize about our current financial system. The Triffin dilemma he mentions isn't just some academic concept. It's something that affects every American's daily life. Think of it like this. Imagine you're running the world's only store that sells tickets to every event. Sounds great, right? But to keep this position, you have to make sure everyone can get your tickets, which means constantly printing more, which eventually makes your tickets worth less. That's basically what happens with the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. At 1031, we see companies trying to solve this problem by building Bitcoin-based alternatives to traditional financial systems. The hollowing out of the middle class he mentions isn't just statistics. Like, it's real families feeling the pressure of a system that requires constant dollar creation. Bitcoin offers a potential escape from this trap because its supply is fixed. No one can make more of it, even if they wanted to. This creates a fundamentally different dynamic than what we have with the dollar system today. We've just explored how Bitcoin could fundamentally change the relationship between governments and money. From strategic reserves to solving long-standing economic problems, the possibilities are remarkable. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the U.S. government should hold Bitcoin as a strategic reserve? Why or why not? If you want to dive deeper into these discussions, check out the full episode of the TFTC podcast linked in the description. Hit the like button if you found this valuable, and subscribe for more insights into the future of money and technology. Thanks for watching.